Welcome to the first ever PullupBuckets NBA podcast. I'm Charlie, aka Charlie Hustle, aka Charlie Sheen from Varsity Standouts. You can read my blog there. It's a basketball blog, PullupBuckets. Wrote some stuff on the draft there you might want to check out. I'm here with Ubiquitous.
Yeah.
This is our first ever podcast, but we promise to keep them coming. A little bit about ourselves, we're just two diehard basketball fans. We don't have any NBA sources or inside information, nothing like that. We just get our information from the same place an everyday fan would. We can list every name on every starting lineup for every team and most of their backups off the top of their head. And we also like to think that we know how a team should be built and put together for championship aspirations.
Today we'll be talking about the NBA draft, who we think is going to be a bust, who's going to be the rookie of the year. So we're starting off, I personally think McDermott, the rookie for the Bulls, is going to be a bust. He can't play small forward, and he definitely can't guard play against the big fellas. So I just think he's just not going to do good in that system.
Well, yeah, he's an offense-first guy, and Coach Tibbs, prides himself on his defense, but they have needed shooting. That's been their one weakness because their defense is always unlocked. But I agree. If they were going to get someone that was an offensive threat, they needed to get someone that can play out on the wings along with Jimmy Butler, because right now they have Taj Gibson slotted at the starting floor. Granted that we're assuming they're going to amnesty Carlos Boozer. Which they should have done for a couple years now to clear up that cap space, but they still have to pay him. And we all know that Robert Kraus is kind of cheap as an owner, so they haven't pulled the trigger on that move yet. But yeah, McDermott doesn't fit in because he's gonna have to come off the bench to go up against backups. Is the only way I see him ever being able to put up any type of numbers against anybody. Because in the starting rotation, like I said, he'd have to take Taj Gibson's spot. What you're giving up in rebounding and defense, is just not worth what he might be able to produce on offense.
I like Taj Gibson. He had a great year. He definitely deserves that power forward spot. It's way overdue.
Yeah, with him, Noah, and Jimmy Butler, you got good defense, a good defensive foundation for sure.
With the pursuit with Carmelo Anthony, it would have to be a sign and trade. Because I believe they don't have enough cap space.
Oh yeah, but they could amnesty Boozer, and that clears up some money. And they got rid of Luol Deng last year, so they did get some money off the books. It just depends on how much Carmelo would be willing to take to play out there. And really, he would be a perfect fit because he could play right alongside. If we move Jimmy Butler over to 2, and then depending on Rose's health too, even without Rose though, that team makes it to the playoffs without Melo, without Rose. So with either one of those two or both healthy,
without scoring.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're a grit and grind, kind of like Memphis, where they just rely on their defense, and Noah's the anchor of that team. So, yeah, McDermott's a good draft bust prediction. I agree with that. Someone who I think is going to win Rookie of the Year or be in that conversation is Julius Randle. As long as he's healthy, of course. We've heard about that foot injury, but he's playing on the Lakers, who have absolutely nobody on their roster right now. Besides Kobe and Nash, and
Sacre.
Yeah, Sacre, and at least even Nick Young opted out of his contract. So they have no one on their roster. If Kobe gets hurt and they end up having a season like they did last season, he's bound to get plenty of minutes and plenty of touches down low on that post. And I think he's already got the post moves and the rebounding to be able to contribute.
Ready?
Oh yeah, NBA ready, coming right in.
Another person I think that has that would be in the conversation would be Jabari Parker for the Bucks, which I'm not sure if they probably should play a small forward over Ilyasova, but I don't know if they want to do that with the big contract that they fucking gave him.
Yeah, well, Jabari Parker was a better fit on the Bucks than the Cavs. Same thing with McDermott. He just can't guard NBA 3, so he's going to have to play some type of stretch 4, or if he's playing, the Bucks is actually a perfect situation with guys like John Henson, Larry Sanders, and
the Greek Freak.
And the Greek Freak, of course. A lot of lengths, a lot of defense, a lot of rebounding, so he could pretty much just focus on the offensive game. And you're right, Rookie of the Year voters love those offensive numbers. So if Jabari puts up 20 points a game, or go along with maybe 4 or 5 rebounds, you could definitely get some Rookie of the Year votes.
So what do you think about Jason Kidd belling out to go to the Bucks?
Oh yeah, talking about the Bucks, right? His new coach, Jason Kidd. No one will come out ever and say it, but he obviously forced himself out of Brooklyn. by taking on his own boss and Billy King, even though he did do a pretty bad job of assembling a team there, going way over the cap. But
he played it as smooth as the water move on the court.
Yeah, as smooth as the water dropping out of his hand.
Yeah.
Everybody being able to literally hit me. I actually kind of thought that was a genius move, as long as he wasn't so goddamn obvious about it. But
I don't blame him. That ship looked like it's sinking. But we'll see what Lionel Hollins has to do, since he just agreed on a deal with the Nets.
Oh yeah, that's
head
breaking.
Coach.
Today's
It is breaking. It's just literally just happened in probably 30 minutes.
Today's Wednesday.
Wednesday,
July 2nd. So yeah, Lionel Hollins is set to become the New Jersey Nets coach. Personally, I think that's an upgrade. I thought he was a great coach in Memphis, and kind of just a shitty deal there, kind of like Mark Jackson when he lost his job. So, he's definitely deserving of another try, and maybe he can do something with this Nets team, even though they're probably going to lose Paul Pierce to the Clippers.
Beat up, yes, and then
they already lost
Livingston.
Livingston to the Warriors. We'll talk about it in a bit, but that was a good move for the Warriors too. So really, all you have is an injury-prone Brook Lopez, an overpriced shell of himself in Deron Williams, and Joe Johnson, who Joe Cool does his thing, takes up a lot of cap space, comes through late in games, but yeah, I mean, pretty much that's at Kirilenko. You can't, AK-47, you can't forget
Teletovic was doing all right during the season, but he's just not ideal back up.
So Lionel Hollins, not a lot to work with, no draft picks. So yeah, that's it.
It's going to be a tough job.
Jason Kidd saw that. He said no cap rule, no draft picks, aging players, aging roster, injury prone big man. Losing Pierce, losing Sean Livingston, I'm gone too. So he went to and he had that relationship. The owner of the Bucks now was a minority owner for the Nets, so he already had that relationship with him. And I'm sure there was some talking about it before he, forced his way out of Brooklyn. And he already had a job lined up right as soon as, whenever you force your way out of a job like that, you had the job lined up before you did it, So, yeah, Jason Kidd, a little grimy, a little slimy, but kind of bullying his way out of Brooklyn there and onto the Bucks.
Well, we're talking about the East. It looks like the Raptors got Lou Williams from the Hawks.
Yeah, they got Lou Williams for John Salmons, so just because
I didn't even know why he's still in the league.
Yeah, well, the Hawks are planning on cutting him. They just want the cap space. They gave up Lou Williams to get that cap space, so I don't know. Lou Williams didn't have a great year last year, but he's been a good player in the past, and he's not old. I don't see why he can't go back to his form. Good shooter, just bring him off the bench. Good relief for Terrence Ross and DeMar DeRozan, shoring up that perimeter for whenever the backups come in. Toronto making a pretty good move there after
solid squad.
After doing a pretty silly draft pick there.
Very silly draft.
They could have shored up that wingman position through the draft too. KJ McDaniels is someone that I think is going to come back and bite him on the butt. He's in Philly right now. And with all the injuries and tanking they're doing, I'm sure he's going to get a lot of minutes. And we'll get to see what KJ McDaniels can do in the league. I'm sure Toronto's going to regret passing on him to take Brazilian Kevin Durant.
While the Wizards seems to be strengthening up their team, they give Gortat a good deal. They picked them up again, which looks like Ariza might be on the move.
Yeah, well, they had those two unrestricted free agents coming into the offseason after a solid playoff run in the weak East, but they got their backcourt of the future with John Wall and Bradley Beal. That's set. And
Gortat's a great center.
And Nene,
there's not a lot of good centers in the league.
Nene plays maybe 60 games a year, and what's cool is that they can play together when Nene is healthy. But when he's injured, you can always just rely on Gortat to be there. So if they're picking one or the other and they're not bringing both of them back, I would say they made a good move in bringing back Gortat with Ariza.
They have Webster as well. That's playing good. He's pretty much putting up the same numbers as Ariza.
Yeah, he gives you a lot of what Ariza does. They also got Otto Porter that they drafted 3rd overall last year.
Right.
That we didn't see much of. So, I would give him some minutes off the bench, at least see what you have in him. And if it doesn't work out, a wing, 3-point shooter, defensive guy, they're not hard to find. Charlotte just got Alonzo Gee for, 2 nobodies in a second-round pick. You can find those guys that'll come up off the bench and give you some, corner threes and good defense on the perimeter. So, I don't know. I think they don't resign Ariza and they keep that cap space open. Give Otto Porter a little look. And if it doesn't work out, then they make a trade for another wingman.
One of the things that you brought up about is trading Hibbert. Hibbert for Robinson, and McCollum.
And C.J. McCollum.
On the Trailblazers. I don't know if I like that. I think the Trailblazers would pretty much go to shit having Hibbert. He's a shell of himself too, man. He's one of those players. He's extremely emotional. They had a horrible season towards the end of getting close to the playoffs, and even out during the playoffs. I'm surprised they made it as far as they did.
Yeah, Indiana was definitely one of the stranger stories last year. They started off strong, looking like they're definitely a finals contender before falling off badly, almost losing in the first round to the Hawks, 1 over 8. They really were lucky to escape that series. And if Al Horford would have been healthy, I don't think they could have beat that Hawks team. So
one of the biggest mistakes I think they did was doing a big trade by letting go of Granger and picking up Evan Turner, which they didn't even use. They didn't really play at all, and it just didn't seem to work out.
Yeah. Well, the reason that Hibbert got the contract that he did was he was a restricted free agent, and Portland offered him that money. So Portland's had their eye on him for a while, and I would bet my life that they would give up Robin Lopez, Thomas Robinson, even though he showed some signs, and I think he's going to be a good player, and the reason why you do this. And then they can also get C.J. McCollum. George Hill was also a weak point in their roster last year in their starting
five. They need
a
good point guard on the team.
C.J. McCollum, what Portland didn't really use him much with Leonard on the front, but maybe Indiana gives him a good look. And Hibbert, that would just complete Portland's team. Right now, Brook Lopez is a starting center in the league, kinda. But if you want to be,
he's a solid center. I mean, he's not what
he's top 15.
Yeah, top. I said top 15.
Well,
just because
from 10 to 15 is pretty much average because you'd be right in the middle, right? So you replace him with top 5, top 6, Hibbert when he's on point.
Yeah, no, Hibbert's definitely one of the top 5 centers in the league when he's on point. Shit, when he's really on point, he'd probably be higher, but
yeah, top 3 when he's the defensive maniac that he can be.
He still had a great season defensively. He just could not score. He could not find his way inside the back.
And you know what my problem with Hibbert is too? Is he can't catch. You throw the ball into a post of it, half the time it slips through his damn fingers.
Yeah, he's not athletic, really. I mean,
and then he wants the ball down low, or else he pouts.
But he's not a big post player, really.
See, that's what I think. You get him in Portland, you get all these shooters around him.
Aldridge.
You got everybody on Portland's roster can shoot from outside of 17 feet, except obviously the center Robin Lopez, right? But you're getting rid of him. You're putting Hibbert in that position. Super upgrade on defense, not an upgrade on rebounding for some reason. Hibbert at 7 feet doesn't get a lot of rebounds, but huge upgrade on defense. I think it's worth it, and you pull a trigger and try. Once you start winning the first round of the playoffs, you got to try and make that one move that's going to get you into championship contention. I think you got to go for it. Same thing with the Suns. I think the Suns need to make a move.
You were saying that Kevin Love would be a good fit for them.
Kevin Love probably won't be there, but
won't be there.
I would love to see him on the Suns.
There's still up in the air on the Kevin Love situation. It seemed to have calmed down in the last couple days.
I don't think he's moving. I think Minnesota doesn't trade him, because I don't think they can get much for him. Every team knows that
he's going to leave.
So why would they trade and give up assets when they can just wait for next year and just sign him from free agency without giving up anything?
A shocking offer that I just saw about an hour ago is the Cavs giving up a max deal to Gordon Hayward, looking like a 14 mil a year.
That was an interesting move. They drafted Andrew Wiggins, and so he was a small forward, a pure small forward, not like Jabari. He can guard Wiggins can guard, shooting guard, small forward, some power forwards. He's very athletic. He doesn't have a very good shot, but then they offer the max to Gordon Hayward.
That's crazy.
So what's the thinking? Are they gonna play Gordon Hayward at shooting guard and move Dion Waiters to the bench, or? I mean,
they need to do something with Dion Waiters, man. They're wasting his talent. He's a great shooter, but it's not a good fit for the team.
He's streaky and grumpy, and you're right. He doesn't seem happy in Cleveland. And last year during the draft, they could have taken Oladipo first overall, but they had waiters, so Cleveland kind of banked on him.
They shot themselves in the foot, picking up Bennett.
And his sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Sound like a bulldog when he's sleeping, when he's running down the court.
So does that mean that the Utah Jazz are looking to tank it again?
Well, if they match the offer, then no. Then that means they're trying to keep him, and they're trying to make him part of the foundation.
I like that point guard, Trey Burke.
Trey Burke is, he's a solid, he's a starter, but not a starter for a team that's going to be in the playoffs making noise. He'd be coming off a bench for a team like that.
The big story, the big three.
Yeah, the big three. I don't know if we even want to talk about it,
I probably not want to. I just think, LeBron's probably just going to stay there. Wade is not showing much. He still looks extremely injured. If there was somebody to leave, it would be Bosh. Our Lakers are looking to check him out. But like you said, they're possibly staying together.
Yeah, I think the most likely outcome is they're staying together. I mean, really, if all three of them sit down, and Pat Riley would do this, he would sit him down and be like, LeBron, you're worth the most. Bosh, you're worth second most. Dwayne Wade, you're worth third most, right? Dwayne Wade's got ego. I'm not sure he'll accept taking less than both of them. Man, Dwayne Wade, honestly, what's he worth for what he produces and how much he plays? Maybe
roughly 10 mil. I mean, and that's just
12 if you're being generous.
Exactly. Just because he's been he's been a Heat.
Because he's family, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, he won't take 12. He thinks of himself still as a superstar, right? But if he wants to win another chip, if he wants to be number 4 instead of just 3, he's gonna have to take 12. Bosh is gonna have to take from 15 to 17.
Yeah, Bosh. They gotta have Bosh if they're trying to do something. I like Bosh. He's a proven champion, clutch shooter.
And they need to give James that 20 because he could walk this year if they don't give it to him. So they will give it to him. You don't lose LeBron James. You give him the 20 mil. And you figure out Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade afterward.
Yep. And they picked up a draft pick that LeBron wanted, and Shabazz Napier. It's a great pickup since apparently they don't have any point guards after the finals that they had.
Yeah, Chalmers is unrestricted, and Norris Cole's there, but I think they might be looking to move him because...
They both didn't show up in the finals.
No, they didn't. Norris Cole showed up in the conference finals a little bit. Played some D against Lance Stevenson, but neither one of them developed the way they wished. And I think Shabazz Napier, I think he's a champion. I saw him slicing his way through defenses, him and Boatwright to the NCAA title. I think he's got what it takes. People say Kemba Walker was too small when he came into the league. People say Steph Curry was too small when he came into the league. Shabazz Napier, little guy, but
even
he can get his own shot.
Tiny.
Oh, Isaiah Tiny.
But he's playing
and you can go back to Muggsy Bogues. I mean, little people can still succeed in this league. So, yeah, and I think he's got the offensive skills to do something. He's got the shot. He's quick. He can handle the ball.
He has the heart, which is, you can't buy. You can't teach.
Champion, two-time NCAA champion.
Right.
4-year kid. He's going to come in ready to this league. We haven't talked about Melo yet.
That's right.
I say Mavs right off the bat.
Mavs would be a great spot for Melo.
I think that Chandler move was a move Cuban made after he talked to Melo. He probably told him, I want Chandler over there.
And they got a solid center. They got Nowitzki.
And they got Mana Ellis.
And then,
you say what you want about him, but under Rick Carlisle, he really expanded his game. You got to give Rick Carlisle a lot of credit. Second best coach in the league behind Pop. Think about it. O.J. Mayo leaves the Mavs, goes to the Bucks. His numbers drop. He plays like shit. He looks like shit. Amanda Ellis leaves the Bucks, goes to the Mavericks, has a career year, even better when he was a young man in Golden State, right? So Rick Carlisle, big credit to him, for he's a great coach and really helps his players. So Melo would be. I mean, you think Melo doesn't see that? Think he wants to? Derek Fisher.
I agree. I mean, look how hard they played during the playoffs last year when what Sean Marion started, Calderon, which was pretty good last year, But Dallenberg, I mean, they don't have a shining squad, but they were right there fighting hard during the playoffs.
Played the Spurs the toughest out of any series, probably.
They took
them to 7. No one else took them to 7. So, yeah, definitely. Well, it's because Carlo's the only one that can compete with Popovich as a coach, as a mastermind coach like that. No, that Phil's not in the league, at least on the West.
Yeah. Phil's definitely going to try to make moves, though. But I'm still looking out to see what they're going to do. They just have, like I said, Bargnani's out there. And then they got Stoudemire's big contracts. They got to do something with that. And
they might just sit on it for another year, and then next year they're going to have
2015, right? They'll have all that cap space.
All that cap space from Amari and from Bargnani.
I still can't believe Amari got that much money though from the kid.
Oh, but he started off hot when he first got to New York. You know what? Steve Nash made people a lot of money on that Suns team. Joe Johnson played there. I remember before he signed that huge contract in Atlanta, because he just pumps people's numbers up, dishing it out, giving them wide open looks. Amari got him that big contract in New York.
Yeah, speaking of Nash.
Speaking of Nash, man.
Man, I don't even know what we're doing with him. He didn't play pretty much all of last year, and when he did, he was...
You know what? I'm a Laker fan, so the Laker fan in me says, you got to cut him, trade him, amnesty him, stretch provision, do what you can to get his name off our books, and bring in someone who can actually play. Not that Steve Nash couldn't play, but he just is hurt all the time. He's got a bad back. He's 40 years old. And that's like 73 in basketball years.
Kendall Marshall was putting up numbers, but he's not a good shooter.
And he don't play defense.
He doesn't play defense, so we're back to the same thing.
Anybody can put up numbers on a bad team as long as you give them minutes. There's 45 minutes in a game. You're on a bad team. That means you're gonna have the ball a lot, even if you're a so-so player. So you can't really count on the stats that someone provides on a bad team. You got to always think about it on stats on a team that's gonna make noise in the playoffs. Kendall Marshall would not be playing, not even on the bench. He wouldn't be in the rotation on a playoff team. So we need a point guard.
Yeah, we definitely need a point guard. So we back to 100%. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think we have any chances to get a big name to join us, even with some of the salary cap open. We don't really have much on our squad, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's why. How can you convince a player to come play with your team if you don't have a team? You got 3 players on the books right now. Lakers got to start off getting some of these quality starters at good prices, just to build a foundation of some that you can add on. Maybe add an Ariza,
Ariza definitely needs to go to a good contender or a contending team. He definitely would.
He can contribute.
He can contribute right off the bat. He does get paid a little more money than you would like.
Let's see how much he asked for. I don't think he deserves more than 8.
That's still quite a bit for him, though.
If he asks for 10, then maybe 10 on a 2-year deal, but I doubt it. Luol Deng is someone that's got to get used to living off less money, because he was making about 14 last year, and no one's going to give him that much money this year.
He had a horrible season with the Cavs. Cavs didn't work him in the right system.
Cavs were a mess. They were just
with their horrible draft pick, like
they bring in Haas, they bring in Dang, they try and bring in outside people to try and get that locker room straightened out. Something's wrong there. They hire Mike Brown for the second time. They're still probably paying him from the first time when they fired him. They bring him on the second time.
Man, he's just getting the check.
I like their hiring of the coach, though, that European coach. I can tell you something. I don't know anything about him, but I like that hiring. Why? Because it's outside the box. You bring in a guy that's a proven champion in Europe. Euroball's in. Look at Pop. Pop has a lot of European basketball influence in his.
He's leaning more towards international players. There's a lot of great players out there, and I'm glad seeing how Pop is doing it. A lot of teams are leaning towards that. even you could tell even in the draft there was a couple players from international.
Yeah,
that Australian kid.
Yeah, the XM is one, but. These teams, they draft these international guys, and you never know when it is they're going to come play on your team. So they kind of stash them away. Like Rubio, I remember they drafted him, and it took him a couple years to get over here from Spain. Marc Gasol was on the Lakers roster. We never even saw him. We ended up with Powell, which was awesome for a couple championships. But, imagine if we knew what we had. Would we have given up? Yeah, well, you always trade a player for championships. But, Powell for Marc Gasol seems like a pretty even trade now.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder where Paul's gonna go. You know, he's unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, he is. Might end up in Houston if they don't land Carmelo and they got that cap space. Why not put him in Houston with Dwight Howard? You know, because Powell don't play no D.
What, they got rid of his Sheik? I mean, they traded him to the Pelicans. I want to say, right?
Yeah, the Pelicans.
Which is a great move for the Pelicans.
It's gonna be a good defensive front court there for him.
Great rebounding front court as well.
Yeah, with Davis in there. Davis, man, he's gonna be the next thing.
Well, they got a great squad with Jrue Holiday, Gordon, Turner, Evans, and Anthony Davis, who's an all-star, and Anderson. Now they're gonna debate: do you start a Sheik, or do you have him off the bench then?
No, Anthony Davis isn't a center, and Ryan Anderson has to play power forward. I think you start a Sheik. And then whenever you just stagger the bench, so that whenever the bench.
But you're not gonna have Anthony Davis not be your starter.
No, he's just starting power forward along with the Sheik, and then you stagger your minutes so that whenever the bench big guys come in, that's when you take a Sheik out because he gets tired anyway. You throw Anthony Davis on the center because he can play center against backup centers. So you don't want him banging down low against. That's when you bring Anderson in and you stretch the floor and you give him a little different look. Yeah.
I'd rather see if they can. Maybe get a small forward or something.
No, they do got a need at the wing. If they could get rid of Eric Gordon's contract, because they're paying him a lot of money for the production he gives. If they could get rid of his contract, and maybe you even trade Anderson, maybe they could get a really good player for a small
like $10 million.
Yeah.
People don't seem to know that because obviously.
But a lot of teams like him too. So if you can get rid of Eric Gordon and Anderson.
If Anderson would have stayed healthy last year, he would have.
What would Eric Gordon and Anderson look on the Suns? Because they can take on that cap space.
And there you go. And then they could get like a Bledsoe, or somebody. They're gonna have to lose one of the point guards.
They would give up Bledsoe.
They have to give up one of the. They have to have Dragic or Bledsoe. Got to go.
Why would they have to give up a point guard to get Eric Gordon? Eric Gordon.
Who's gonna be? All right, Eric Gordon will be your shooting guard. So you're gonna have one of those two coming off the bench.
Yep.
Good luck with that. Dragic had a great season as well.
Yeah, he did.
And Bledsoe came off an injury. I think they're going to move Bledsoe.
Well, they're not going to move him. He's unrestricted.
Oh,
if anything,
you're right.
They just don't match somebody's offer for him. Which, maybe the Lakers throw max money at him. At least something close to his max. But the Suns got a ton of cap space. They're not paying anybody.
But Gordon's not unrestricted, is he? No, he's under contract.
Eric Gordon's under contract. That's what I'm saying.
So they have to do a trade.
That's what I'm saying. You trade Gordon and Anderson to the Suns.
For who?
For Morris,
Green,
and Tucker's unrestricted. You just let him walk, and a draft pick.
That's not bad.
And then the Pelicans just open up so much cap room.
They're giving up a couple good players there, though.
They are giving up a couple good players, but Pelicans don't want Eric Gordon's contract. He's making so much money, and him along with Anderson, they would cut so much off their cap. And teams make moves now to save themselves money. They don't always just look at the Lou Williams trade. Look at the Lou Williams trade. The Hawks did that just to John Salmons, really. You know what I mean? They did that just to clear cap space. So.
And the Hawks have a great three-point shooting team.
Yeah, so if the Pellies are looking to clear cap space, especially after signing Tyreke Evans to that big contract, and Jrue Holiday,
Jrue Holiday is a baller.
He's worth it. Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players.
Jrue Holiday, good defense. He's a big guy for a point guard. He can take it home, right to the fucking rack and do his thing. Yeah, I like Jrue Holiday.
There's conversations that the Celtics are talking about Isaiah Thomas and Rajon Rondo. Possibly. Well, is Isaiah Thomas an unrestricted free agent?
Mm-hmm. But they could do a sign and trade.
They could do a sign and trade.
Well, Celtics are interesting because they just said that they set out a qualifying offer for Bradley. Now in the draft, they take Marcus Smart and they take Nick Young. They're both guards. Rondo's a guard. Bradley's a guard. And if I'm the Celtics, I think I'm okay at guard. Yeah, Jeff Green, I'm okay with Jeff Green. But Jared Sullinger and Kelly Olynyk, Like, really, those are going to be your big guys? I mean, Sumner can come off the bench and provide some shooting from the 4 spot off the bench.
Forget Humphreys, bro.
Dude, I can forget him, dude.
I think everybody's forgot him.
After he no longer retained Chris Kardashian. And it was even Chris with the K. It was the cutest thing.
I'm not a big Smart fan.
That's another potential bust. That's someone that I would have talked to about being a potential bust. Lots of people say, oh, he doesn't have off the court issues and it's just passion. You know, you don't push a fan. You got to restrain yourself from doing that. Ron Artest did that. We all saw how that went. Obviously, a lot different situation. He wasn't laying on the scorer's table and ran 5 rows up to go and hit him. His momentum took him into the stands, and while he was there, he turned around and pushed the fan. You can't do that. It's like
an older fan at that.
It's like if your old lady makes you mad, you don't rear back and fucking drop her like you would some dude on the street. You know?
Exactly.
You got to take into account the situation you're in and know who it is that's in front of you, and you don't raise a hand to them people. You don't touch fans.
I just don't see him as a point guard, period. Especially an NBA point guard. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't assist like that. He's a combo guard.
No. What he would be, if anything, would be like a Dwayne Wade. You know?
Flasher?
Yeah, he'd be a 2 guard that can handle the ball some and can't shoot. The 3 anyway. And we all know how much success Dwayne Wade had. I got it.
Dwayne Wade, man.
So,
he does not seem
his ceiling would be, lesser version of Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, he's 3. He'd be Dwayne Wade 2 or 1. And that would be, the best you can hope for him. Worst you can hope for him is, like I said, DeMarcus Cousins. Like I said in my article, DeMarcus Cousins without the size or skill and just the attitude with the suspensions and the techs. But I think where he's going to land is Tony Allen with a little better handles, but that type of competitor. And I think that's what you might end up getting if he doesn't let his competitive nature make him lose his shit on the court.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He has heart, man, And not a lot of players.
You just got to channel it right, though.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that's what they're saying Wiggins' problem is he could be passive, And some people aren't Jordan. They just don't got that I'm going to kill the man in front of me instinct like that. But, I think you can learn it. I think Kevin Durant came into the league just wanting to shoot. And I think after losing and everything that he's learned how to be a killer. He's come out and wanted to be stone cold and take over games and beat people. Westbrook kind of edges him away when they're sharing the court, but when he's by himself on the court, he's definitely the main man.
I think Westbrook has more of a killer instinct than Durant, unfortunately, because Durant can shoot a lot better, and Westbrook feels like he can shoot himself out of a slump, which never really happens. And he shoots more than Durant all the time. But he's a great player. He's explosive. He's learned to be more of a point guard.
I'll take him. I'll take him any day. I think what the little bad that you have, you take any day when you can provide what he provides on the court. Someone kind of in his mold that I'm a huge fan of is Damian Lillard from Portland.
He's such a beast.
You saw them buzzer beater, the one
He's
in the
cold.
playoffs against Houston.
It's cold.
No reaction, dude. That's a Bay Area boy, a stone cold, just no emotions. He's a killer. I love that.
Up you one with Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard, the other silent assassin.
Woo.
From right here in San Diego, hometown.
Yep.
Well, he's not from San Diego.
No, he's not from San Diego. I think he's more of
some North County,
Riverside area.
But hey, he wore the black and red. He was an Aztec. We get to claim him.
I was very hyped to see him play, and he's playing great out there with the Spurs. He won the MVP of the finals. Second year in the league.
Youngest ever. He's 30.
Third year in the league.
30. Yep. Oh, what we never did talk about was Sean Livingston on the Warriors.
We touched on it, but
yeah, but we talked from the Nets, not from the Warriors side. The Warriors, that was a really good move by them, because when they were at their best was whenever they had Jared Jack as an option coming up and relieving Steph Curry from his ball handling duty, so he didn't have to do it all game, and he could play off the ball and get some shots off the ball, some screens sometimes. And you add Sean Livingston, he's a ball handler, he's a point guard. Not only that, he's a good defender, so on the other side, he can play the better 1 or 2 or even 3, because he's tall for a point guard.
He is very tall for a point guard. I liked how he played last year.
Yeah, he could defend out there. and you could hide Steph Curry on the smaller guy, and Clay could still play the three. You could have, you could do a three guard front line like that. They're good. They'd be good enough defensively to be able to pull that off. Especially, man, you put Iggy at the 4, imagine, and then, you always got Bogut and shit, but in the backcourt.
I still can't believe the let go of one of my favorite coaches, Mark Jackson, to get Steve Kerr.
It's just that type of thing. Sometimes you could do a good job, and it doesn't really matter if there's a personality clash and your boss don't like you. Pretty much, I've lost jobs because my boss don't like me, and it had nothing to do with the quality of my work. So, kind of shit happens. He's the preacher man, hand down, man down. Mm-hmm. At least we get to hear him on the broadcasting again. We did some of the finals broadcasting. Always like his insight, and he's just got that voice. And, so Mark Jackson, good man, definitely. Too bad he lost his job. Steve Kerr came out winning because everyone had him penciled in going to the Knicks, so the Warriors had to give him a crazy deal to lure him out. $525.
Which I think it could have been. It could have been Phil Jackson's kind of a plan. I mean, nobody even cared about Steve Kerr until the Knicks gave him, offered him some money.
You think Phil Jackson did that just to help Steve
They're
Kerr?
homies. How can they? I mean,
the Warriors' job wasn't even open, but when they were there linking him to the Knicks, though.
All of a sudden it was. It's about like a kind of.
You might have a point. You never know. There's a lot of backdoor dealings, lots of wheeling and dealing that we.
You saw what Jason Kidd did.
Yep.
And then I'm up in the air. I'm on the fence about the Warriors not getting love. I almost feel like they should have, but not for a Splash Brother.
I think with the addition of Sean Livingston, what do they need really? David Lee, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green. Maybe you can upgrade that spot where those three guys play. But the team's there. I think they just need to grow a little bit. You forget they're young.
They might need a backup shooting guard, if anything. They got Barnes.
But that's what that Livingston trade gives you, because Livingston can come up, jump on the point, you move Steph to the 2.
Yeah, but Steph got to get rest at some point.
Or you keep Clay on the 2.
But I got to get rest at some point.
It's not a lot of shooting guards. Shooting guards is a very thin position in the league. That's why Klay Thompson's so valuable, and they didn't want to trade him to the Wolves. I mean, think about it. Who are your best shooting guards are old Hall of Famers, right? Like Kobe and Wade, and you got Joe Johnson, and you got Exactly.
No, James Harden.
Well, Harden. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot Harden. Yes, Harden.
Damn.
And then
that's one thing the Thunder needs. That they're not. I'm surprised they're not making it far. I think they're another somewhat of an emotional team.
Who?
The Thunder. I think they need to get rid of Perkins and then put Adams as the starting center. I like Adams. Like, he's athletic. He's a good rebounder. He can score.
Yeah. You've been on Adams. Adams is your boy. I always thought they should give Perry Jones more minutes. Every time I see him on the floor, I like that he can shoot. Man, he's got a sweet shot. I've seen him hit those corner threes. He's 6'10". He just needs to learn the game. But you got to put him out there for him to learn. He's never gonna learn just sitting on the goddamn bench. But you definitely are on the Adams train, and Perkins and his combat boots, as Jalen Rose says, he looks like he's running down court with combat boots. He is definitely he's a gots to go, and I don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger on that.
I'm surprised they don't stop the games more often and clean up his sweat.
How about these two for the Warriors? I don't even know if they have any capital to sign anybody. How about Jared Bayless? He can come off the bench and score for you.
Perfect, actually. I like Jared Bayless.
Or they could just bring back Steve Blake.
Steve Blake was playing good for him, I thought.
Yeah, Kobe was pissed when he traded him.
I don't blame him, man. I still don't know what the Lakers are doing.
Either one of those they could probably pick up, right? On some type of mid-level exemption. One of those deals. Don't pretend to be an expert, but I know they exist, and people up on them.
But now that I think about it, the Warriors are stacked.
Warriors are stacked. Jermaine O'Neal's old, though. I don't know. I don't even know if his contract's up or anything, but Andrew Bogut can get hurt.
They got Spades. Then they got Barnes.
And Draymond Green can come in and play some 4 for you too. And Draymond Green's quality. He's a quality player. He sometimes look like their 3rd best player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Draymond Green.
He definitely plays with heart. He plays with a lot of emotion, good emotion, and definitely hypes up the team. He's a good spark plug coming off the bench.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think those two would be good fits on the Warriors. And maybe, man, I don't know. They're so capped out. They threw everything into the Iggy train. And don't get me wrong, he's a great player. But really, his addition, they got to the same level in the playoffs. And by the way, we're in sunny Southern California out here, San Diego. So we enjoy the weather. It's 70 degrees with the ocean breeze. And you might hear planes, you might hear dogs, you might hear kids yelling, you might hear traffic. So get used to it. I'm sorry, I'm enjoying my beautiful weather, my beautiful
And
city.
I hope y'all are having a great weekday.
4th of July coming up. Everybody's going to be grilling and drinking Budweiser. It's going to be a good time.
Having a show tonight at the Hideout at 9 o'clock tonight, or at Al Cajon Boulevard. Come through if you like. My boy Matt Genius will be performing, along with other good DJs, great DJs from San Diego. But something that I've been thinking about, a team that I've been thinking about, is the Magic. They got a lot of money and a lot of good players.
They have a good young core. I like what they did in the draft, and I like Vucevic. He was impressive since his rookie year, pulling in them boards, banging down low. He's a good big
Harris
man.
is playing good. He just needs to be more consistent. But I like Oladipo a lot.
Oladipo showed a lot of athleticism, taking it to the rack, getting dunks, getting some triple
You saw that
doubles.
incredible dunk against Lillard.
No, Lillard doesn't play good D. No, I don't remember that one.
No, Oladipo blocked the shit out of Lillard.
No, that's cool. Lillard can fucking throw it down too, dude. That's why I like him so much, man.
He tried.
He's one of the more exciting people, because whenever you see little dudes going up like that, fucking taking it to the rack, it hypes you up, you know what I mean? The big dude's got to get like a good elbow above the rim type of shit for you to get hyped up. But for them little dudes, they just need to throw it down and fucking make the rim rattle a little bit for you to get all hyped. Little Lillard, man, little killer, dude. That's my boy. I like him.
I'm glad that Jeannie Buss was part of at least the conversation with Carmelo. I wish Jeannie, right?
Yeah, Jeannie. Okay, Jeannie. My bad.
Why are you trying to mess me up?
I totally messed you up, bro. You know who I thought as soon as you said Jeannie Buss? I thought of Sterling's wife for some reason, and I got him confused in my head.
Now you're thinking about Sterling's wife?
Yeah, because she's still part of the team.
Well, so is Sterling. They both are.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We got Ryan Kelly.
Do you think Paul Pierce will go to that team since
the Clips?
Yep, just because of that reason.
That's where, I mean, it would be his destination, 100% guaranteed if there wasn't that ownership deal going on, right? It's Doc Rivers is there, Chris Paul is there, Blake Griffin's there. He won't have to do anything except spot up threes and do his little go across the foul line, pretend like he got hit and pull up a little elbow jumper.
They got my man DeAndre Jordan.
And DeAndre, yep.
Has only had a career year with Doc Rivers this year.
With Redick too. Man, they got to do something.
Crawford's a baller.
The West is, with the West you have the Thunder, the Spurs, the Clippers are 3 legitimate finals contenders. And the East you have 1. You know?
Yeah.
That's why
even our bad teams are really good on the West.
The 16 best teams, just line them up. East or West, doesn't matter. Just line them up, and
That's how you should do it.
Best teams play the worst teams. It doesn't matter what conference.
I wish they would change that. That would change everything.
Let's talk about the Hawks a little bit. So we touched on this when we were talking before the show. Talking about what they would need. They have Jeff Teague. They have Kyle Korver. They got Paul Millsap and Al Horford. Right, that starting 4 is a good starting 4.
It's solid.
Right, and then they have DeMarre Carroll making $3 million a year at the 3. All right, so I was talking about maybe Ariza, maybe some type of upgrade there. And we compared their numbers, and it wasn't very much difference between Ariza and DeMarre Carroll, because, yes, Ariza was a very good defender, but DeMarre Carroll ain't bad. Like, he's not trash.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Ariza makes, like, what? You'd have to pay another $5 million to have Ariza on the team. just to have what? One or two more rebounds a game, maybe 3 or 4 more points a game.
Better 3-point percentage though.
By 5%, you know.
But that's the difference between a 35% shooter and a 40%.
But is it worth $5 million when you can look if you need any other position? I think they need another center.
If you see it, the Hawks are. I mean, everybody could shoot a 3 on the team. So, you keep
even their centers except Horford.
Man, Horford's got a mid-range jumper.
Good mid-range jumper. It's unfortunate that he went down towards the end of the season.
They were a top 3 team in the East before he tore his pec. But yeah, I mean, everybody on that roster can make a basket 15 feet away from the bucket, and that's important to have. You got to stay honest to them. You can't go and clog the paint against the guy that's cutting, because you move off your guy, you're gonna have to hope rotation gets to him, because he'll make that little mid-range bucket. So I mean, that's why the league's going so much to spacing. They're not doing post-ups no more. They're doing movement, spacing, passing, pick and rolls, offsets, and trying to just get people in open spaces and get them open jumpers. Like people are saying nowadays, okay, analytics say you take a 3-point shot or a shot at the rim is most effective, because you can get fouled on your way to the rim, or it's a higher percentage shot if you're only going to get 2 points. If you're only going to get 2 points, that's the only place you should be shooting it from. But if you got a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, that's an asset, dude. That mid-range jumper.
A lot of power forwards are leaning towards more of a mid-range game, more than playing inside the post.
Ibaka
is solid, bro.
He makes that little jumper.
And we see Kevin Love out there just hitting them threes.
Love's got extended range. Bosh has got extended range.
Who do you think is the best power forward in the league right now?
Blake Griffin proved
all-around solid game.
Blake Griffin proved to me when Chris Paul went down that he had more to his game.
He has what it takes to be a good power forward. Great power forward.
I would put him.
He's not number one.
He's my number one, with LaMarcus Aldridge coming a close second.
Wow. What do you think about Love? Where would that go? Third. Really?
Yep. Love can get you 30 points and 15 rebounds a game. But
more games than not, more often than not.
But he don't play D.
And neither does Griffin.
Griffin plays better D.
What about Aldridge?
Griffin can do more. Griffin was, dude, they were giving him the ball on the high post like he was Marc Gasol whenever Chris Paul went down. And he was doing things with it. And he was making that mid-range jumper, and he can take it to the hoop. It's just his game is ugly once he gets down there. He starts doing spin moves and butting into people, and it looks ugly. But
it looks really ugly. Yeah, I guess. I guess I'm going to have to give it to you.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not even like a Blake Griffin fan.
Neither am I. I guess that's probably what's pushing me away to say that it's Blake Griffin.
That's why, for me, I know that's who my pick is, because I'm a LaMarcus Aldridge fan.
Yeah. I'm a big Kevin Love fan when it comes to
the way he iced fucking Houston for 40.
Yeah, twice. That was ugly.
They couldn't stop him. He looked like
Nowitzki. And I thought Houston was
out there the year they won the championship against the Lakers, where he was just fucking drilling them mid-range jumpers on us all day, and we threw Odom, we threw Bynum, we threw Gasol, all of them on him, and nobody could stop him.
Nobody. Man, the West is so stacked. I mean, look at Houston. They really do need I like Parsons. They almost don't really need anybody. But, I mean, they are going to go for Carmelo Anthony. They need a better point guard. They really need a better point guard.
You saw where their team got him. Their team got him a first-round exit at the hands of the Trailblazers in 7.
Yeah, but look at the Trailblazers, though. That was a better rounded team than Houston, I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a Sheik that's pissed off to be on Houston, where they won't let him start, which he is a starter in any fucking team.
Yeah, but they got Dwight Howard now. Once Dwight Howard came into the picture, you're no longer a starter, dude. Your team has Dwight Howard now.
What do you think they're going to do with Lynn? Because that's not going to be easy to move.
Imagine if Melo does go to Houston. That means that Melo not only ran him out of New York, then he runs him out of Houston, too. It's like wherever Lynn goes and tries to make a name for himself, Carmelo comes over and says, hey, get the fuck out of here, dude.
I don't know if Lynn did a good job of trying to make a name for himself in Houston. That's why I think it would be definitely pretty hard to move him.
Everything's movable if you get right down to it. Houston's got a lot of assets.
They pay him $15 million
for someone to take him. they pay him 15 mil, but I think he's only hit the way they structured the deal. I think he's only like 8 million towards the cap though, or something like that. I might be getting them confused with the Seek, but I remember they had similar deals too. They did it where because they paid him less in the beginning and more at the end, but they had it where all against the cap, like it'll spread out evenly throughout the years. So I think they're only paying him like 8 or 9, like against the cap, even though they're actually paying him more.
I like how Terrence Jones played this year as well.
Terrence Jones played good, but he's still young, and
he is very young.
If you want to win now, you got to have him come off the bench and see what he's doing. And
then who are you going to start as your power forward? Melo?
We're talking about Gasol.
Gasol.
I think if they get Gasol and leave Parsons at the 3, just pick up Gasol if you can't get Melo.
I really like Parsons. He's a great player. I don't know why they don't. They feel like they need to get somebody else.
Every time he goes up for a layup, it's going in. Because I watched that Portland series pretty closely, and every time it was very entertaining. But every time he was on a fast break or something, he always converted at the hoop. Yeah. So in the end, I think Paul Gasol goes to Houston, and since we've been dragging on a little bit. We're going to just end it real quick here with some real quick predictions. We're going to name some free agents, and we're each going to say the name of the team we think they're going to go to, and not really even give that much of an explanation. All right, so we're going to start it off with
let's say Lowry. That's a huge free agent. He had a great year last year as well.
Lowry's jumped around a couple teams. I think he stays in Toronto. Canada really loves him. They don't have much history, so he can become one of the most favorite Toronto Raptor players of all time.
And I'm sure he doesn't want to keep moving around. I mean, it gets tiring, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you don't want to get, once you get settled, I'm sure you want to stay, but the NBA is a business, and these guys move all the time, and they get used to it.
Sometimes money talks. And let's see if Lowry's going towards, that money. Because the Raptors should be able to give him an offer. He said he's going to sleep on it for a couple days, so he's definitely making him sweat.
So at the end, where do you think Trevor Ariza ends up?
Trevor Ariza. Oh. I think the Bulls should get him.
That'd be a good place for him if they don't land
Melo
and they amnesty Boozer, then definitely they can use some of that money for a reason. I think that would be a great pickup for him. I think Ariza is going to the. I just had him at the tip. Oh, I think he's going to Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
That'd be a good pickup because now Dang's a free agent.
I mean, if Utah matches Hayward, right? Because Cavs offered Hayward the full amount, right? But
yeah. Well, yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah, but after if the Utah matches it and Gordon Hayward stays on Utah, which is what I think is going to happen, then Ariza goes to Cleveland to help Wiggins out with this transition to the NBA.
That's a good move. I'm so surprised that the Cavs offered that to Hayward.
So speaking of Luol Deng, where do you think he's going to end up?
I could see him being useful on a Magic team. I mean, it's a young team.
I can see him being real useful on a Magic team. Depends how much money he's willing to take. I'm sure Magic got a lot of cap space.
They got a lot of cap space.
But they're not in,
winning mode.
If they come out and they jump out to a good start, they're like 30 and 20 or something, and they're in the playoff hunt, then maybe they would pick up a guy like Deng. But coming into the season, not really knowing what you have in your two rookies, maybe not, but it would be a good fit because that's all they need really is a wing, and if the rookies come through, that could be a really good team.
Exactly.
Really good team. I like Luol Deng on the Lakers. I don't see why not. They don't have any players on the roster right now, so they can definitely take a few guys.
And we definitely, it's not like we don't need a 3.
Yeah, Kobe. He's a Kobe Bryant type guy where he plays a lot of minutes and nothing keeps him off the court. No injuries keeps him off the court, so he'll be compatible with Kobe, and they'll come out and they'll set an example in the locker room. How professionals are supposed to act. Julius Randle's a high character guy, so maybe that's the start of something if they're trying to really do something this year, and not have another shit season.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we got Julius Randle. That was one of the people that I thought we were going to get in the draft. I mean, of course, there's other players, but I'm really glad that we got Randle.
All right, so what about Spencer Hawes?
Man, where would he go? He's a good center. I would probably put him as a power forward, to be honest with you.
You know, just he could be your third big man coming off the bench, is what I'm thinking for him. And since I'm thinking that for him, I'm thinking the Clippers will be a good landing spot. They've been looking for someone to come in and relieve Blake. And they were playing Jared Dudley, they're playing Granger before. They've been, you know, they have a bunch of trash there. I think Spencer Hawes would be able to come in, provide some instant offense, some rebounding off the bench for him to relieve Blake and DeAndre. And then, you know how DeAndre sometimes they say he's not reliable at the end of games because he can't shoot free throws. Hawes is a great shooter. You can have him out there at the end of games.
He can hit threes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him going there. He could help out as well, like a Bobcats team.
Definitely could help out with a Bobcats team. I don't know what do you know the cap situation? You know if they got any money to spend? I
think so. I mean, who are they really paying?
Yeah,
Jefferson,
but a lot of teams got a lot of cap space this year.
Well, I think they got Ben Gordon too.
They just got they got him off the books this year. I'm pretty sure. Huh? Let me check real quick.
But
yeah, Ben Gordon.
I can see him playing.
Yeah, there you
like
go.
that.
They could use some of the money they used on Ben Gordon.
Told you.
Use out the books.
Yeah, so that would be a good landing spot.
That would be a good landing spot for him, for sure. But the Bobcats are similar to the Bulls, where they need offense, and Spencer Hawes can definitely come in and hit some buckets for you. All right, we had a couple.
What about Lance Stevenson?
Lance Stevenson, you go first. Give me a second.
The ear blower.
Ear blower. That's my move, boy.
The LeBron lover. The rumor about him and LeBron playing in Miami is stupid. I can never see that going down. I'm surprised he denied the Pacers offer for $44 million. I just don't know. His performance during the playoffs didn't help at all.
All right, I got your team, boy. And this will be the most exciting team in the league if they get him. The most exciting team in the league if they get him. Atlanta Hawks.
That's actually a good idea.
Definitely fucking killer, dude. You got Teague and you got Lance Stevenson. Both of them can handle the ball, right? And Teague can shoot threes.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson would be starting, and then you got Korver.
And he can shoot threes. You got people to dish it out to. You got Horford and Millsap. You got talented guys that he can pass it to. You know, if he's getting
that's
crazy,
a good one.
And they can afford him too. I would love to see Lance Stevenson on the Hawks. I got another one for you right here. Give me a second. I had my eye on it. Greg Monroe. There's no space for him in Detroit. Where's he going to end up?
We should get Lance Stevenson in L.A. Greg Monroe, though. We need a center.
Kobe would kill Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, he would. They'd probably end up killing each other.
He wouldn't wrestle around the floor with them like Evan Turner.
I think the Lakers should put some interest in getting Greg Monroe.
Poison in his food. Oh, the Lakers should definitely be interested in Monroe. I mentioned this in my draft column. I want the Suns to get him. He'd be perfect on the Suns. Give up a Morris. Give up fucking PJ Tucker or something. Give Detroit something. They didn't have a draft pick, you know. They could have given him a couple draft picks.
But isn't Monroe unrestricted?
Monroe's is restricted.
Oh,
it'd be a sign and trade. I don't know. I want to see.
Monroe only gets paid like $3 million too.
Just get one more good forward to get him, you know, into the playoffs.
You're a big Suns fan.
I just like it when teams are improving, and you know, Suns. Well, last year they were supposed to be a lottery team, or they were a lottery team.
With
they
the
were supposed to be like top 3 pick, but instead, Hornacek comes in, tells them the running gun, and they end up damn near making the playoffs in the West, which is impossible.
The athletic Bledsoe definitely helped.
West is going to be crazy with Anthony Davis and the Pelicans coming up, and the Suns coming up. They weren't even in the playoffs last year.
The West is going to be changing, just like the East changed last year, which was a big surprise.
You know who Miami's going to get? They're going to end up getting Jameer Nelson.
That would be a good pickup for him.
Yeah, they need someone like him because he's experienced. He's played in the finals with 09 with Dwight Howard. You know, he's not that far away right there in Orlando. I'm sure they've seen a bunch of them.
That's a good person to help Napier, too.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. Teach a young a little something.
Yeah, so I think the big 3 are going to stick together, I guess. I can care less. I'm more interested to see what my Lakers are going to do.
They got a lot they could do. So yeah, we've covered pretty much free agency and everything since this has been an hour or so podcast. But we're just giving you your money's worth here on our first one. We'd like to sign off. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. Well, check out soon, and we'll have some new stuff for you.
Yeah, next episode might be coming after we check out a summer league game. Might check out Julius Randle. Might check out Wiggins. Depends on who all's there, but it sounds like it's going to be a good time in Vegas for us if we end up going right here on the 14th. If we do, definitely throw on a podcast. Maybe that night after a good night of partying, we throw on a podcast. See how
That'd be nice. So stay tuned. So make sure you check back. Go check out varsitystandoffs.com. That's where we'll be posting some of this stuff. Well, mostly on YouTube, but make sure you check out varsitystandoffs.com. And yeah, signing out. Ubiquitous, and here Charlie Hustle.
Yeah.